Welcome to Cloud-Based Bedtime Stories with Wanjala. You made it through the day. Get comfortable, close your eyes, and let tonight's story find you. Nothing is paging. We can just read. Tonight, we journey to a quiet valley where thoughts are gathered, pruned, and grown. We will visit the Academy of Vertex, a sanctuary where young minds are nurtured from seedlings of data into wise scholars, ready to step out and help the world outside. Let your mind drift as we observe their patient learning. Chapter 1: The Garden of Many Minds. In the quiet valley of Vertex, there is a sanctuary where potential becomes understanding. It is not a place of sudden breakthroughs, but of long, quiet afternoons. Inside this valley sits the model garden. The garden is a vast greenhouse, its glass ceiling letting in a steady, soft glow. Here, we find the seedlings of thought. Some are massive, ancient-looking trees whose roots run incredibly deep. These are the Gemini models, grown by the gardeners of the valley. They are unusual beings. They do not just listen to the wind, but they can see the color of the leaves, hear the softest murmur, and read the finest script written on stone. They experience the world through many senses at once. Nearby are other varieties, brought from neighboring lands, the Claude and Llama families, resting side by side in the fertile soil. Each has its own temperament. Some are skilled at painting still images with words, like the Amagan brush. Others, like Veo, can weave silent, moving scenes of light and shadow, letting a single prompt bloom into a moving picture. The gardeners walk among them, not to force them to grow, but to give them space. They are all waiting for their lessons to begin. Chapter 2: The Archives and the Study Rooms. Before a mind can speak, it must listen. Across from the garden lie the archives, where knowledge is kept on massive, orderly stone shelves. These are the repositories of BigQuery and cloud storage, where raw facts sit like quiet, unpolished stones. To prepare these facts, workers use a gentle river called DataProc Serverless Spark, which washes over the stones, cleaning away the sand and leaving only the smooth, clear truths behind. Once the data is ready, the training begins. The Academy offers two ways for a scholar to study. The first is the serverless study. It is a small, quiet room that appears only when a student enters. The scholar sits with their scrolls, studying in absolute silence. When they have finished their lesson and understand the text, the room dissolves back into the mist. It leaves no footprint, requiring no upkeep. The second is the reserved cluster. This is a massive, stone-walled hall reserved for the heaviest minds that require immense energy. Inside, banks of glowing lanterns, the accelerators, burn day and night without interruption. These halls are set aside, ensuring that the scholar has all the light and warmth they need to solve the deepest mysteries of language. To help them study, a quiet guide named Vizier walks among them. Vizier does not teach the content, but gently adjusts the height of the student's chair, the angle of their candle, and the thickness of their ink. These are the hyperparameters. With tiny, precise adjustments, Vizier helps each mind find its perfect state of focus. Chapter 3: Grounding and the Mirror of Truth. Even the wisest scholars, when left alone in a quiet room too long, can begin to dream. They might remember a history that never happened, or describe a star that was never born. In the language of the valley, this is called a hallucination, a dream mistaken for a memory. To keep their feet firmly on the soil, the teachers use a practice called grounding. When a scholar is asked a question about the world, they are not allowed to rely only on their memory. Instead, they are handed a heavy, leather-bound ledger, the enterprise data, or given a window that looks out onto the Great Search. Before they speak, they must look at the ledger or look through the window, anchoring their thoughts in what is true today. To ensure they remain safe, they are also fitted with a light protective garment known as model armor. This armor acts like a gentle filter over their ears and mouth. If a traveler arrives at the gate and tries to trick the scholar into sharing secrets or speaking harshly, the armor quietly absorbs the words, keeping the conversation peaceful and respectful. Chapter 4: The Registry and the Carriage Roads. When a scholar has finished their training and has been tested by the evaluators, they walk up the stone steps to the model registry. This is a beautiful, silent hall where every mature mind signs its name in a great golden book. The registry keeps track of every version of every scholar, the young, the experienced, and the retired. To make sure the journey from seedling to registered scholar is never hurried or forgotten, the Academy uses the pipelines. The pipelines are stone-paved carriage roads that run through the valley. A new thought is placed in a carriage at one end of the road. It travels smoothly, stopping first at the washing pools of preparation, then at the study halls of training, and finally at the evaluation pavilion. The carriage moves by itself, guided by the stone tracks, ensuring that every scholar receives the exact same careful preparation, time after time. Chapter 5: The Quiet Watcher at the Gate. Once registered, the scholar is ready to sit at the gates of the town and help the people who pass by. Some scholars answer questions one by one as people walk up. This is online serving. Others sit in the great hall at night and read through piles of letters left by the postman, writing all their responses at once before the sun rises. This is batch serving. But the world changes. The language of the town shifts. The questions of the spring are not the questions of the autumn. Therefore, a quiet watcher stands on the hill above the gate. This is model monitoring. The watcher does not interrupt the scholar, but listens to the murmur of the crowd. If the watcher notices that the villagers are asking about things the scholar has never learned, or if the scholar's answers begin to drift away from the quality they showed in the academy, the watcher notes it down. A message is sent back down the carriage road. It is time for a quiet afternoon of tuning, or perhaps a new scroll from the archives. And so, the loop of learning continues. The valley remains quiet, the lanterns burn low, and the minds grow wiser, one gentle thought at a time. That's all for this journey through the cloud. Wherever your clusters reside tonight, may they remain stable, resilient, and peaceful. Until next time, sleep tight until you have to serve your next request.